Yo, what's happening? So yesterday, what ended up happening was the beautiful retest. Quite crazy. You could see literally to the dollar. We have recently had that wick 2 days ago with the drop of this little trend. We saw that Bitcoin started to lose some momentum. And now from going into the mindset of take profits, take profits, take profits, now we're looking at, okay, cool. Where is the next best entry? We know we've broken high time frame levels. We know the market's looking pretty bullish on the high time frame. We do still have the Dixie hovering of possibly dropping a really big major trend, which is huge. But mainly what we are focused on now is where can we get the actual entry? We've seen how we've broken out of this wedge. We have retested now. We want to know, is this temporary high in? Are we going slightly more? And are we still getting the drop to the higher levels? So I'm going to be speaking about the drop of where I'm seeing this happen, how far down I'm seeing altcoins going. And I'm showing you exactly that if anything changes, where the hell we are actually buying, because we know that the total three, which is the altcoins, have been the ones that have been lagging. It was a Bitcoin and Ethereum pump, and the true altcoin pump is still going to happen, in my opinion. It looks boiled up. We just have to be very aware. We've had Genesis officially file for bankruptcy, and now we're thinking, why is the market not reacting just yet so much? And is it still coming? Because things could still turn really bad. But ultimately, we now know when fear hits the market, big red candles, all these sort of things, these are times where we're focusing on getting the next big buy. So I'm going to be going through tons of altcoins with you guys. And then later on in the show, I'm actually going to ask altcoins from you guys. And we're going to go through all of those. And we're just going to have a fantastic show, because if this happens on the weekend, I need you guys to be ready. We've been hitting this hard. Everyone's been committed. I see everyone's been watching my shows, same on the thing. And we're just on such a monster good path at the moment, and let's keep it happening. James, no more wasting time. Hit the button. Let's get into the show.
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper. Click. Time to be dedicated. Sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall. Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper. Click. Enter the sniper. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? Guys, how are we feeling? How's the day going so far? How are we doing? I want to ask you one question. We've gotten onto, I feel like, a good run from this year. I feel like we're catching momentum. We're getting good steam. It's feeling amazing. Are you guys starting to understand a little bit more? I think by explaining and seeing all these things play out in front of your eyes, I just want to make sure that you're learning across this journey. So please pop in the comments and smash that like button. Guys, smash the like button. Please give many likes on this video. If you're brand new, subscribe to the channel. Remember, guys, we have the two absolute beautiful watches up for grabs. And I've heard a little rumor that possibly early next week, the first one gets given away. So in order to win a Rolex, guys, if you want to win a Rolex, I know it's many people's dreams in order to win the Rolex. If you have a look below this video in the description, you will find these links. You will find a ByBit link, which is for the blue and gold Submariner. I was saying Submariner. Sorry, I'm not experienced with Rolexes at all. I need to buy one possibly. But if you sign up with this link, the ByBit link, and exchange, and you take a trade, it qualifies you for entry. The more trades you take, the more qualifications you get. Ultimately, I want you to win all these trades. That's why I'm working my butt off to make sure we track in this market. I want us to win and win and win. I want us to make a lot of money this year and prep ourselves for the bull run. And then what we have is the Bitget one, which is the black Submariner. Am I saying it right? And same thing, if you take any trades there, you qualify for that Rolly. And remember, guys, we have the Discord, which is pumping right now. All of the show charts that I give you guys right now, if you use one of our exchange links, you get into the VIP on Discord, and you can find all my show charts So you can see them. They may look small now on your screen, but you can actually go chart them yourselves. Take the information and put them on your own charts. Learn with me, guys. Eventually, I don't want to have to be here at some point. I'm not talking anyway soon in a long point. And I want you to know exactly what you're doing. Like, that's the ultimate goal throughout this whole journey. So get your butts onto Discord and you get the trades as well. And we are basically set to start the private trading sessions there again. So that's my goal for next week. I haven't been fully confident on the perfect trade just yet. I wanted us to hit the strong run. So when I'm ready for that trade, which I'm expecting the longs to happen, I don't think the bears have much time. So either Bitcoin's got to dump soon, but if it stays in these areas for a while, we're going up again very quickly, and we know we're going to higher levels. So I'll talk about that in a sec, but get ready on Discord, guys. It's a big one. Now, let's jump in and let's start to have a look. So what happened yesterday? Yesterday, I spoke to you guys more or less in this area over here, and I said, guys, I'm expecting the market to go up. I'm expected to go up and go retest this previous level where the market was holding 21,000, holding. We finally lost. And now what it means is what was previously a zone where we were holding really strongly is now going to be another zone that's going to be hard to get through. So anything that will support, and we've lost that level, now becomes the new ceiling and something that we're going to struggle to break through. And this is more or less just the strategy of offloading zones. You know, people have seen now we've lost momentum. So whenever they get a chance to offload, you know, that's sort of what's happening in this area. And what I'm basically expecting from here is I am still expecting the daily RSI to make its way down. So I'm still prepping for lower zones than where we are right now, and still proven that we've broken this momentum. But right now, Bitcoin's lost short-term momentum. I'm still working in the way of a pullback is happening, and that's where we can take advantage on, especially altcoins that we missed. I'm sure many of you are sitting here saying, I missed the pump. You know, we're going to work on getting the entries to make sure we get the pump on the next one. So right now, things are still pointing to the downside, and I still have the major target of around 19.5, 200-day moving average. I spoke about it yesterday, saying that there's only one line of support there, which is the 200-day moving average. Not much after that. But then I have the other scenario where there is a lot more support. And that is this play over here, which is possibly this if things get bad, guys. We're starting to get a little bit of news now about Genesis bankruptcy and all of these sort of things. And it may just start more and more and more. And the chart's showing me that there's more news to come. So it's showing me that something else is going to come in order for this pullback. So I'm expecting some sort of bad news or something at any point for this pullback to happen at any point. But of course, I'm going to give you guys the different ranges that if the market decides to break up, what are we looking for in case it doesn't come down to these levels. But so far, we still have this that looks like it makes sense. The daily RSI is still way up. So I'm expecting this to be down probably in the region of around Monday, Tuesday. So I'm giving the bears until Monday or Tuesday to get down to any of these levels. And then I think the bulls are going to take control again, because then what we'll basically have is we'll have the higher time frame RSIs hitting the bottom. And when we get the daily at the bottom, for me, this was a powerful leg to the upside. And as long as we hold anywhere above the 18K, we are still incredibly strong for the next move to the upside. And those moves that I'm expecting is the first target of around 24,000 would be my next target for Bitcoin. Now, this is a big thing when it comes to the rest of the market, as I've spoken previously, because this dominance we could see right now is on its way to the higher levels, but there is a huge offload coming. And that offload for me is going to be the huge altcoin catch-up. And that's the total 3 chart, the one that we've been focusing on the whole week, where we're expecting the total 3 to finally break through the 200-day moving average, which I'll clean up here for you guys. There we go. That's the reason why the altcoins haven't been going too crazy. But end of the day, what do you see in this chart? I see very clear lower highs. I see lower lows. And for the first time, I see a higher high. Now, ultimately, altcoins hit and they hold the support here, which you can see there's not much downside. So if you look at the altcoin chart, it's showing that Bitcoin should hold 19.5, if not slightly higher that level. And if the altcoins hold that, you know, the next move for me is huge. Basically, you can be looking at if this holds this area, which I'll go through shortly. I do have the zones, which I'll talk about. But ultimately from here, I'm expecting the next altcoin move to get us way above and basically catch up to the rest of the market, which could be meaning of up to I think it's $80 billion entering the altcoin market, which could be huge. So if you thought the move of Solana was big now, and you thought the AVAX move was big, and all these sort of things, this could turn into something a lot larger on the bigger scale. Because what we have is, not only do we have the 200-day moving average, if the altcoins finally get to that level, they're breaking the weekly. So this is why the altcoins have just been holding a bit and holding and holding. Because if you have a look here, here's the altcoin trend line. The one that Bitcoin just broke. And that's why Bitcoin, and it broke it at 18K, 18.8. And that's why it's rallied all the way to 21. This is the major altcoin one. And if this breaks here, it could start, if you look at the market cycle, which is a big one, we're basically expecting that from here, we should have a little rally up over the next 2-3 months to the areas, and then we start the dry season, if not capitulation, anything like that at those sort of areas. So this, if you thought that this little leg was nice, it's very cute and very small when it comes to the smaller time frames. And remember, things change daily with the charts and these sort of things. But the way you got to trade this is, when you, day by day, when we start crossing these levels, you have to keep your mindset with the market. If you stay in the old mindset, and this is where 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗏 and that, I love the guy. I think he's done really well, but he's still stuck in the 14 and these sort of regions. And that's why he's getting left behind right now. You can see that the whole market's just erupting, and he's staying in that mindset. You got to shift daily, and you got to shift every week as the market's printing new candles and giving you more data. You got to move with it. Otherwise, you get caught very far behind. And I'm pretty sure all the bears, that's why people are upset. I missed the pump, because we're still stuck in last year where every pump was fake. And these sort of things that can change at any point, and you have to shift with it. So for me, this is the next big one for the altcoins, is for us to get through this major one here. And I want to make sure that all of us have phenomenal entries, and we're in the right altcoins for when that actually happens, because that could be a huge eruption of doubling the market cap on the next push up. So that can be a massive one. Obviously, the chart that I'm still waiting for, which is still not doing anything, is the DXY. For me, guys, this is going to cross at some point. We're going to have a cross to the upside in this RSI. It never lies. It's been trailing at the bottom for a while. I do see a DXY bounce coming at some point. Maybe there is a slight more downside. We will see. For the stock market, it's weird that the stock market's been coming down and the DXY hasn't really been bouncing, but that's obviously because of gold and things like that. But at some point, I am expecting a slight bounce within the DXY. And, these could just confirm. It may even be a short time frame one, but this could confirm the pullback, and we just got to keep in that mindset of buying red and selling green throughout this whole year and become consistent. So this is another big chart we're focusing on. And obviously the stock markets, just before I get into the altcoins, the stock market's been pulling back quite aggressively recently. Pretty big candles. It's very similar to this area over here. And basically, it is still in a bullish pattern. If you look at it on the higher time frames, I showed this yesterday. If it holds this area, it is quite bullish, which for now, I can still think that it could definitely happen. And that makes sense for me. If this does decide to come down slightly more lower to these areas, if not slightly more down, it makes sense that Bitcoin goes to the 19.5, anyway, these areas, and then we continue. So I'm paying attention to that. Now, let's jump into the altcoins and how we're going to actually trade over the weekend and the plan of this. So what I'm seeing with Bitcoin at the moment is, I don't know if this temporary high is in just yet. I still think anywhere in this area of around the 21 to the 22, we're going to have a rejection. And from that, what I'm actually trying to get to here is, I'm trying to get the momentum to the downside. We don't have the momentum just yet. We clearly had the momentum to the upside, and we were tracking that. Now we want to track the momentum to the downside. And in order to do that, we have the recent high, and we now need the next temporary high. And once we have that high, we can track that momentum and see how fast down or how aggressive is this move to the downside. And at any time we break that rhythm or something like that, will give us that indication on more or less where the bounce area is. So what we do is, we mark down the major areas of where we think this pullback could go to. And this is off of moving averages, off of horizontal supports, anything like that. And then secondly, we just add in a momentum line. So when we get to any of these areas, and we break the momentum line, it gives us an indication that that was the area. Because for us, it's like, which one is it going to bounce at? That's a very hard question to answer. We're not going to sit here with a glass bottle and know exactly which one it's going to hit to. But the momentum line is the one that tells you. It tells you, okay, we have been moving in a certain direction. very similar to the Bitcoin move. When Bitcoin was moving up, I told you guys at the beginning of this week that we're losing momentum. We're slightly moving the momentum, and I'll show you here. If I took this trend line from the previous move from Bitcoin, this was the momentum. We stopped it. We slowed it down. And that's why all of a sudden we're going into another move. And that's the same thing we're doing now to the downside, is we're going to track that momentum. And once we see that the momentum's giving way and we've bounced in a key area, gives us the indication of where to get in, and now is the time to hit it. And if you can keep it smartly, understanding, do you see how I have a game plan with every trade, how I want to see it play out? What are my indicators for where I want to buy it if the bad scenario plays out versus where we break the momentum line? So it's very important, guys. Learn with me on this process. Now, what we don't have just yet is this high. And for me, I'm tracking it this way. So if you guys were holding your shorts, or you're still looking at possibly adding a little bit more to your shorts or anything like that, this is how I'm doing it, because I am personally in a theta short, which was around 95 cents, which I'll go through now shortly. But the way I'm tracking it is this now, because what we're actually doing, and this is a beautiful trend on the 1 hour, is you can see how we are making our way on the 4 hour, 8 hour to a major resistance. Now what you do is you track that support, and you can see how beautifully it respects it and bounces it. Until we've broken this little line over here, I'm still expecting that this may not be the high. We may possibly go higher into that range again at any point, but this is the one that's going to give me that indication. Now for me, once we have lost this line, I'm basically expecting something like this. So maybe price goes up now, and eventually we break this, okay? And we start to make our way down. Once we have invalidated this low, and we've actually gone lower, I can then confirm that this is the lower high. I can't confirm that lower high just yet until we have made a lower low. So until we've broken this low, I can't say that that's the high just yet. That's why I'm tracking it, and I'm leaving it, and I'm patient, and I'm sitting with my cash ready to go at any point. And once we have made that low, then it can confirm. Then what you do is, once you got the confirmation that the low is in, and I'm expecting it to happen over the weekend or the next few days, guys, is then you can put in your momentum line. We can say, okay, cool. Now I'm going to take the top over there, and I'm going to take that one over there, and that's my momentum. So remember, the lower low, you know the high now is correct, and that's the momentum. Then you have the targets to the downside. Now you sit. You're ready to go. Like you either have your main targets of where you're dipping your toes, and you have your momentum line of where you're adding in the rest. And when this makes its way down, and it comes down, and it starts to, let's say, come down to these areas, and you got your trend, and we decide to break, you start entering in the market. You could dip your toes in these areas, no problem. But when you enter in here and we've broken those trends, put your stop losses in play and let it ride. Now you're trading smart. Now you're trading with the markets, and you're actually understanding. Now this goes with any of the tokens. It's the same thing with Ethereum right now. If we look at Ethereum, it very clearly made the lower low. And what I'm waiting for is the lower high. And for me, what I'm looking at now is I have the momentum line to the upside. So I can see this. Are you guys understanding this? Are you enjoying it? I love that you guys are enjoying the education. So what I can see now is we can see that this is the momentum that ETH's moving in right now. And the thing is, we can go anywhere back to these areas, no problem. But when we lose that momentum and we've made the lower low, now I know, sweet, that's the high. There's the momentum line. And these are my targets for ETH. The previous areas over here, 1,430. I have the next one at 1,300. You could see with the total 3, and let's go back there quickly on where I'm expecting this pullback. I don't think the bears have that much time left, to be honest. Like I said, they have till early next week, because if we have a look, the altcoins have hit one little support. They've hit a horizontal support, definitely. They've made momentum there, and they're still holding certain areas. But for me, it does go slightly lower. I do think that we do have the altcoins to go another possibly 3, if not the secondary one. So the areas, this is just the total market cap in all the altcoins in whole, is the 618. So realistically, this altcoin pullback actually shows me that the dominance actually short-term possibly turns down, and we have Bitcoin pullback a little bit more than the altcoins, but about 7%. But it's so great now that we can go and put a strategy on each of the tokens that you are trading. And you can understand that, okay, if I look at ETH now, where we're at, makes sense, 7%, the total 3. It's lining up, it's giving me a good area of where I can expect the market to be bouncing. And then you just have this beautiful momentum line that's going to help you with that. So I'm still seeing this little play that's happening here. And the confirmation for me is this trend line, this bottom trend line over here. When we lose that, I see this pullback starting. Once we have confirmed the lower low, I put my momentum line in. I have my targets to the downside, which I'm saying between 7 to 10%, which I'm seeing within the altcoins. And then with the momentum line, then we make sure we're getting in, because we want to be in when that total 3 breaks that 200-day moving average. We want our stop losses all the way down at entry, and we want to sit back. We remember what it was like 1 week ago when the market was ripping like this and we couldn't get in. And we went in, it's like, oh, FOMO, FOMO, FOMO. Let's get rid of that. And the way we get rid of that is getting the great buys on the pullback. Now, if you can already see some of the markets, the altcoins are already starting to pull back. So you have one like BNB. Beautiful retest. You see how it comes back up? And this one for me is starting a definite trend. So once, like if you look at this chart now, it's ahead of ETH and Bitcoin. And the reason why you can see that is, do you see how this has already made the lower highs? Like I'm speaking about Bitcoin, lower high. But the only way you confirm that is when you have the lower low. And all of a sudden, look how this one now, pure lower low. So now I know that this is my momentum line. Fantastic. That's great. Then what I have is my areas. So my first area for BNB, like I've spoken previously, is 275. In that area, I might, guys, it's your choice, but I would dip my toes slightly when it comes down to these areas. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because you still have this play to possibly play out. This one over here, which does show a possible pull to 18K. It's a scenario, and it's showing that it can happen in the charts. So for me, what I do is when BNB gets to these areas here, I'll dip my toes, but the main buy that I want is when we break this momentum line. And you can see it's basically showing towards the 24th, 25th of Jan. So you can look, Monday, Tuesday is more or less the areas that we're looking at. And if it breaks sooner, be aware. So the big thing that I want you guys to do today is play the scenario, understand your buy zones, and put your momentum lines in. And then we start talking about the big ones, which is obviously the tokens. Now, the first one I can see is Litecoin. But this one for me, it's momentum line. And I'm seeing Litecoin 78. Now, Litecoin for me is a big one because it broke a very high time frame structure. You can see this. High time frame, big cup and handle at the bottom over here. And for me, the retest is a great one. And what I like about the Litecoin charts is once we have hit this resistance over here, okay, the next one is huge. And we have that huge gap that I've been speaking about. You got these big gaps where this is the resistance here. And after that, we have this huge gap. And for me, Litecoin, by getting into these areas over here and we break the momentum line, I'm looking at it go $100. And if I'm looking at the total 3 chart of breaking the major ranges, I'm looking at a possible $133. And if you look at the buy areas, guys, we're definitely TPing in the next push up, of course. But where are we TPing? The first TP is $30%. Second one, 71. So this is a huge gap. So Litecoin breaking high time frame and looking really good. So it's one of my possibilities. Now remember, I want you to split. You have your long-term portfolio, the coins that you love, that you think are going to change the world and are going to do phenomenal. That runs through all of this stuff. You can add to it when you want at good levels. That's great. But this stuff, what coins are going to make you money? Because you're going to take profits on the next one. So you want the right coins. And Litecoin shows a good trade and good money. You're taking profits. You're not falling in love with this stuff. You want to make money. Very simple. So Litecoin is one of the big ones. As I said previously, Solana. And for those that do like shorting, your shorting opportunity can still come in a few days with Solana once we lose this momentum line. If we've lost this one, I do think Solana still comes to $15. So if we have any pushes here and we finally lose this line, you know, for the guys that do like shorting, be experienced if you are going to short, guys. Don't do it if you don't know what you're doing. 24% short still coming for Solana. I'd only focus on buys for Solana around $14, $15 for now. So I've gone through these a few times. I'm just going to go through them one more time. AVAX, I'm looking around $14. You can see very much now it's making the lower lows just at the moment. And this momentum line is far. Look at this. Showing a while until it's time for AVAX again. So unless you're buying for long-term here, AVAX is not the next trade you're going to take. Do you see this now? When you no longer attach Litecoin on the next book, makes way more sense to trade than AVAX. AVAX right now, it's still far from the momentum line. So I don't expect it, even if it makes its way down here, I'm expecting it to be here for a while. And this one's showing me only February. will be a nice trade for AVAX again. That's great, because now you go to your trading portfolio and you're like, okay, whoa, I'm looking at making some more money on the next one. AVAX is Feb. It's not ready just yet. There's still time for that one. Oh, but Litecoin's looking better, or BNB is looking better. Do you see how you finally understand it? Which is good. So AVAX is good for the long time frame. I'll dip my toes at $14 for AVAX in that area. Same thing if you look at Chainlink. So Chainlink, I still think is going to rip. And I think long term, $6. I'm looking at 618, $6.57 for Chainlink, definitely. But look how far we are from the momentum. So far from the really big breakout from Chainlink. So yes, if we come down here and we break shorter ones, there could be a nice little trade, but it's not the big one. This is a 7%. You know, Litecoin was showing a 30%. So Chainlink, cool. That's my February list. No problem. I set myself for that one. And you can see with many of them, same thing with Uni. So this is great. Now, the next one I want to add in here is Ape token. So Ape obviously have incredible community. And this is one that's been showing some good progress, some really good progress. It's been making a nice look at that. Great daily trend break. Great higher high for the first point. And now it's coming down for the pullback. And ultimately, if I look at the pullback now on where I'm expecting it, is it did initially bounce on a horizontal support. So there's one there and there's another one here. Okay. And what I'm waiting for now is I'm waiting to see, let's jump to the 4 hour. Boom. There we go. Okay. Is I'm waiting to see now from here, the next low, and you can see very much how we're going to start forming a beautiful momentum line to the downside. But this one for me on the high time frame looks great, because from here, the next move for me takes it towards the 6.3, sorry, if not the 7.2. So if I look at where this trade can go on the next one and why I'm interested in the next trade for this, is because the percentages make sense and this looks really good now. So if I go here and I put this up on the red, boom, make your charts look pretty, guys. Make them understandable for yourself. But ultimately, the next one, what I can be looking for here is if I get an entry here, the momentum line is going to give you the entry, right? You have the areas, 40%. Next one, possible 70%. Remember, what's the market doing right now? And let me erase all of this. I've given you the possibilities, okay? But what it's given you at the moment, once we have a break or anything like that, it's given you a momentum line. And for me, it's the same thing to the downside. This over here starts to rally now. It starts to go to these high levels. It's going to give you a momentum line. And end of the day, you have targets of where you think it's going to get to. You have a target over here, and you got a target over here. And you're thinking, that's my areas of where I'm taking profit. And end of the day, great. Take TPs there. But as soon as we get to these areas and we lose the momentum line, that was the TP. Get out. Take your damn profits. Take your 40%. Take your 30%. So Ape is one of the next big ones that I'm definitely taking. If we look at the next one, Polkadot. This one's big for me. Look at it on the daily. On the daily, breaking out the fantastic trend. It doesn't have too much downside. You can see over here where the supports are. They're basically showing another possible 7-8%. Some of these altcoins aren't going to pull back that much. So this can be a very fast, short pullback of what we're expecting. But this one's nice. If you jump to the 4 hour now, there's your boom. So this one's nice. This one's showing by the 25th. So by Tuesday. So from here, we're definitely making lower lows. I'm expecting it to come down, test, and from here, push. Now I go to the daily. And I'm like, okay, there was the first high. Where do I see us going next? And the next areas that we can see over here is we can see the first one, which is basically the 7.3 to the $8. You see, guys, I'm jumping back big into my education again. But for me, 40%, boom. Would you rather trade AVAX in the next one, or are you going to trade DOT? Do you see how you understand the movers now? So DOT for me is the next big one. And be safe. And the way you be safe is momentum breaks. Break on the momentum. Because right now you can see something. 4 hours slightly going up, and that's why I'm expecting the continuation of the pullback. 8 hour, sort of at the bottom. Daily, 12 hour bottom. Daily on its way down. When the daily's at the bottom, and you have the 8 hour and the 12 hour at the bottom, and you break momentum, boom! That's the trade for you. So DOT is also another big one. Let's go look at the next few here. If you look at NEAR protocol. So NEAR also, small pullback, okay? Now, NEA, I want to show you, has not broken the high time frame trends just yet. There's the high time frame trend, which is round about the 2.7, anything like that. So if you want a realistic trade with NEA, I'm looking at the buys of around 1.86. And from that, I have a TP around 2.7. Okay, so pretty decent 30% trade. Once we through that major one, then we can be looking at 100% trades and bigger trades in those areas. We have 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬 1.4. But are you getting the concept, guys, of tracking these beautifully down? Like, I want you guys to learn this process. It's beautiful when you know how to do it. Because we've been making some good money recently, and I want you guys to be in the same boat, shorting or longing. Theta as well. So you can see a lot of these tokens. I'm still expecting the 8%, the down percent moves. Now, gaming. I need you guys to focus on gaming, because gaming on the next pullback is one that you want to be on. And the big one we spoke about was Sandbox. And for me, we're still going to come down to the areas of 60 cents. So I'm expecting a 12-15% pullback on this. But then I'm seeing big targets after that. I'm seeing the first one around 96 cents. So you're looking at a 55% growth at the next target. And then I'm looking at the bigger one, which is 140%. Now, gaming, split your portfolio like this. You're basically going, if you have like a trading sort of thing, gaming, make it 20% of your trading portfolio. You know, DeFi, 25%, a little bit more safer. Ethereum, a little bit more, like, just structure it right. So gaming is a lot more volatile, but it can give you a lot more gains. Just have a smaller part of your portfolio that's running it. But you can see this is the next big trade that I'm looking at. And I'm going to try to build a monster leverage position when it gets there. So I want to try to get us in on that live trading session in those areas. But I'm looking around 141%. And then after that's the huge gap. Who knows? Who knows? If Bitcoin follows the same thing of what it's been following many times, we should get a 30K Bitcoin. We should. Let's have a look and see how that's going. For anyone that's in Nakamoto, it's moving again. It's going again. Boom, on the rally again. We were getting in around here, so you should be 3x up, but it's looking good, and I'm pretty excited for this. Guys, buys for this is only around 10 cents, so don't be too crazy, but I know there's a lot of people that are in it. But once it gets through this 20, the next resistance is 36, which is huge. You know, then we're all of a sudden looking at a 7x from our entries. So Nakamoto, very small cap, so very small part of your portfolio, but it's looking absolutely incredible now. Let's jump into some of the other charts that we're looking at. Mana. So this is a big one to focus at. I'm looking at a little bit more of aggressive pullback. And why I'm looking at that is, for now, I'm looking at this inverse head and shoulders. Okay. So I'm looking around between 46 and 50 cents. But after that, I'm looking at the rally that takes us to around $1 to $1.20. So that's a big 80 to 100% trade that I'm looking at focusing on the Mana, which is looking really good. We then have Lido, which is one that's been looking incredibly strong on the daily. And for me, it's one fundamentally that's become really a big eye opener that I want in my portfolio. And if you have a look here, we basically have this area over here, and then we have the slightly lower area, which is the 200-day moving average. So I'm looking at around 1.5 for this, because I do see it going and testing this major high over here next, which is 100% away from that. Remember, this one is showing a beautiful, beautiful momentum line. Boom. So it's giving you time on when you know the breakout is or anything like that. Guys, set alarms on these things. Add alerts, set alarms at any point on it, because it's going to help you a lot when it comes to that. But Lido is the next big one that I'm looking at. I think it goes to $2.8 to $3 after this. So Lido's a nice one. We then have Arweave, one that's incredibly cheap on the super high time frame. I would still be trading it more than holding it for too long, because it is a big mover. And this is one that I'm seeing come down to around 7.8. And I'm looking at the next move, get it to around 11. So it's also a nice 45-50% mover. And what it is starting to do here is we are starting to get some sort of momentum. So once we break this low, you then have a fantastic close momentum line, a close one. And that's what you want. And you basically want to dip your toes in the support areas. And then basically the breakout is the big one. And even just back to the high from here is a 25%. And after that, you have the areas. If we have a look from here, you look at the next one, which is a 43%. So this one's big. Then we have Verasity. Now, this thing's going absolutely crazy. I don't know why it's going so crazy. And I'm just here to remind you, if you are a Verasity holder, yes, there might be a possibility if we break this today. So I'd possibly hold on a little bit longer for today. If we break this, you do have more upside. But if we don't break this today, I'll take profits. Definitely, because we'll get this lower. But I suppose it does have a very long sort of push. So it's just, this is in the gaming space, right, Craig? Gaming space. Right.
Yeah, so gaming space, but the rumor is that that they are going to list on Binance. Yeah, that's the rumor.
Amazing. So if they do, guys, and we do get the break of this, there's a big gap that takes it up here. And if you look percentage-wise, you know, this might be a token that moves really big from there. So you can see Verasity, definitely one of the next big ones. Then we have 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫. So 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫 is breaking the daily trend. So if you have a look at the daily trends, breaking and holding. So as long as it holds around the 2.3 cents, it's interesting for me. And what I'm waiting for is, this is one I'm definitely tracking to buy, because I'm seeing it break the 200-day moving average after the next push. And I'm seeing this rally to around 4.5 to 4.7 cents. It's 25 cents now at the moment. So if we look percentage-wise, it's good. It's a really good, decent 100% move. So you see what I'm doing, guys. I'm looking at what's already moved. I see we already have Gala Games. Let's have a look. Gala Games. I'm calling 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫 again one last time. I'm thinking we're getting it a 50% cheaper. So it's one that we'll catch on the next one. But you see what I'm doing, guys. I know what my next trades are. I know what's got good momentum lines. I know what's next. I know what I should only be trading in February. You see how we're finally having an understanding with all these sort of things. Get yourself ready, because the next ones are going to be great. Have those TP, those momentum lines, and have them on the 8-hour, 12-hour bigger time frames, not the 1 hour and stuff, higher time frames. Once you make a lower low, lower high, track that down, and let's get it down. I am still expecting Bitcoin to start this aggressive pullback, guys. And that 1 hour will give me, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen soon, today, tomorrow, over the weekend. I'm expecting Bitcoin to make this momentum move down, and it may get wild. It may be bigger than what we think. So those momentum lines are very important. I think this can come down pretty hard. And if it retraces properly, we may have 18K Bitcoin again, maybe. So I am very short-term from right now, and I am prepping for the longs after that. We just need a bit more patience, and I think by next week, Tuesday, next week, Wednesday, we're in with new longs, and we're making some good money in the market again. So I think that's going to be great. Remember, guys, for school, I have the school. We have very little spots left, but if you put if you use the Sniper School link below for any of the exchanges, and you put $250 in, you go register for Sniper School, and you can get in. It's starting, it's pumped up, it's looking fantastic again. So make sure you join. We start on Monday. Monday's the next one. So if you haven't done it by Monday, you will miss this one, and you'll have to do it next month. Is there any other big ones? Let's get some from you guys. The fact that I'm not with you guys on the weekend. Let's get some from you guys. So Phantom obviously broke the very high time frame trend, which was really good. But 26 cents is where I see it going down from here. It's definitely lost momentum and definitely making its way down. And my my areas are between 25 and 26. I'll drink some water. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫, one I haven't heard for a while. Let's look at 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫 for you guys. So 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫's has been doing pretty good. That's a nice little pump, touching 200-day moving average. So if we have a look here, if you got a good entry, I'd be holding it. Definitely, it's looking good. If you're looking at buying, you know, around 4.5 to the 4.7 cents makes sense. Why? Because you're going to take this. 618 is that area over there. Plus, we have horizontal supports, which are in that zone over there. So that's definitely one I'll be waiting for there. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫. A lot of these tokens I haven't heard of for a while, which means, guys, just possibly start looking at reshuffling your portfolio. So 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫 is still not above 200-day moving average just yet. And it has broken a trend. It has definitely broken a trend. And if I track that down, it's looking good. So more buys. I think 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫 is extremely cheap right now. It is. But more buys are looking towards the $30 region. And it looks like the possibility of, you know, making its way back up to these zones later on the next push. So 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫 is a big one. Verasity I already went through. Cardano I went through. RUNE I went through. FTT. Get out. Maybe it does something later. I don't know. I don't know. But FTT, they're trying to bring it back to life, but look at it. It's destroyed. Maybe. But any money you make on it, take profits. Get the hell out. Get out. Okay, cool. What's next? VET. So VET, I also think is still a really big mover. VET is a great one for us to pay attention to. So VET's not there yet. It's showing that the VET breakout comes later on, February. So for me, VET's a February token. It's still coming. I know it's still a big move. It's still coming at any point there. GMX. Let's have a look at GMX. So right now is holding support. So you put that support in. If we lose that at any point, emergency, it could come down to lower levels. And there might be another chart with more data, but all that I can see over here is a momentum line. So the day we break that momentum line is where it's running again. First target is $60, and obviously above that, you'll use the previous data. AGIX, I know this is a big one. Obviously ripping. It is making a little bit of a flag. So it's making a nice flag, actually. This is a great flag for you to especially as a trader. It's looking really good. So if we put this in play over there, if it breaks the top, it's going on another run. But when we break this bottom, I'm expecting a lot more downside. Like I'm expecting a 60-70% drop within some of them. Stellar, any of those. What did someone say here? Let's have a look. Stop ignoring it. Someone said it. Quant. Okay, guys, any of these that I'm taking from you guys, I have not done research on, to do research on them. This is not financial. This is not my, what is it called? Quant. Doing pretty good. Not bad. Obviously came from a lower area. If we had to have a look, it is still in momentum right now, and it is showing that any pullbacks to this area are good little top-up zones. So around about the 120. Next resistance is 155, and then we got 160 after that. So that's a nice one as well. I'll do two more, guys. I'll do two more. GLMR. I think it's Moonbeam, right? It is Moonbeam. This one for me has got a long way up, but I think if you DCAing, I think you're gonna make good money in the future, definitely. Dollar costing in this area, so it has obviously broken the trend. No higher high just yet. We're not above 200-day moving average, so that just means it could still be accumulating for a little while. Possible buy zones is 35 cents. Little entry zones, no problem. But you're waiting for the major breaks to get to the bigger levels, dollar, $1.40, anything like that, makes sense on those. Not Hex. No, I can't do Hex, guys. I think I might still have a little bit, but I can't do Hex. I don't know if I believe in it too much just yet. I'm still waiting for what's the other ones that he's doing? Okay, render.
Pulse is the other one.
Yeah, when's it coming, bro? When's it coming? And I invested, I think like $10,000, $10,000 in it. Let's see what it does. Surrender 200-day test holding at the moment. So if it breaks the momentum line and holds this level, it looks pretty good, and go back to the areas of $1. So render's looking good, guys. Possibly coming back to life. And AGX, I went through Pulse Chain. Maybe Pulse Chain. What do you guys think? Think Pulse Chain will make it? Think we'll get there, actually. Okay, amazing, guys. I love you all. Let's wait for the pullback. I will have I'm flying to Johannesburg to go see my little brother. It's his birthday tomorrow. But I'll take my computer with me. If we do have the dump, I'm still expecting a dump, and on that we'll take advantage. I'll do a stream for you guys. Be on Discord, be on everything. Next week's going to be a huge week for us, and we're just going to continue this huge rally, and we're going to kill it this year. Love you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all on Monday so far, maybe sooner. Much love.